Imagine a Tudor England where the king we know never ruled, because he had a brother no one knew about, a shadow prince lying in wait, ready to claim the crown. The familiar world of Henry VIII, the marriages, the Reformation, the courtly intrigue, suddenly becomes uncertain. What if the very man who shaped England's destiny had a hidden twin, a secret heir whose existence could have rewritten history? In our reality, Henry VIII's reign is marked by monumental decisions: the break from the Catholic Church, the formation of the Church of England, and the pursuit of a male heir. But in this alternate history, those pivotal events hang in the balance. A hidden twin introduces a fork in the timeline, creating ripples that threaten to upend alliances, succession, and even the fate of the monarchy itself. As we step into this what-if scenario, we unravel the Tudor court's deepest secrets and follow the moment when England's history could have been entirely different. What if the Tudor dynasty was hiding a second son, raised in shadows, trained in secret to one day claim the throne? While Henry VIII grew up within the grandeur and scrutiny of the royal court, the hidden twin's life was an entirely different story, one of secrecy, discipline, and isolation. Born mere minutes apart but concealed from history, this twin was whisked away immediately after birth, hidden from public records and the eyes of courtiers, even from the king himself. His existence was entrusted only to a small circle of loyal guardians, sworn to preserve the secret at all costs. Henry's early life was marked by rigorous education in languages, music, and courtly manners, preparing him to rule England with both charisma and force. In contrast, the twins' upbringing was shrouded in mystery. Tutors taught him not only the classics and strategy but also the arts of subterfuge and persuasion. Every lesson, every whispered story of England's politics, was carefully designed to mold him into a man capable of challenging the throne. While Henry played in the corridors of palaces, attended lavish feasts, and formed friendships with future advisors, his twin learned in dimly lit chambers, mastering the knowledge and cunning necessary to step into the shadows and strike at the right moment. The emotional stakes were immense. The twin, aware of his birthright yet denied his place in history, grew up with a simmering mixture of resentment, ambition, and purpose. Each secret meeting with his guardians reinforced his destiny, each whispered account of Henry's exploits igniting both jealousy and determination. The Tudor court remained oblivious, but subtle hints of the twins' existence occasionally surfaced. A servant's fleeting comment, a letter that vanished before it could reach the king, a shadow glimpsed at a castle's periphery. These were dismissed as rumors, easily overlooked, but they laid the groundwork for an explosive revelation. As this secret prince matured, the tension between his hidden world and Henry's public life intensified. The stage was set for a confrontation that could shake the very foundations of the English monarchy. The twin was no mere phantom. He was a formidable presence, quietly observing, waiting for the precise moment to challenge his brother's legitimacy and rewrite the course of history. Suddenly, the England Henry VIII expected to inherit is thrown into chaos, because the crown has another heir waiting in the wings. After years hidden from the world, the secret twin emerges, carefully escorted by loyal supporters who have safeguarded him in secrecy. The streets of London buzz with murmurs as rumors of a second Tudor prince circulate, and the court, a stage of opulence and intrigue, is plunged into uncertainty. Henry, who had long anticipated his assured ascension, is blindsided. The nobles, caught between loyalty to the familiar prince and curiosity, or fear, of the mysterious claimant, split into factions. Some see opportunity in backing the hidden twin, calculating that his youth and training could make him a more pliable monarch. Others cling to Henry, believing the established heir is the rightful king by all law and precedent. The once unified court is fractured, whispers of rebellion seeping through tapestries and behind gilded doors, while plots and alliances begin to form in secret. The twin, poised and confident, presents irrefutable evidence of his claim. Secret birth records meticulously preserved by devoted guardians, corroborating witnesses who speak of his birth and concealment, and strategic alliances with nobles eager to capitalize on a potential shift in power. Every word and gesture is calculated to challenge Henry's legitimacy without sparking immediate bloodshed, yet the threat is palpable. Henry's response is a tempest of panic and suspicion. The king, trained to command loyalty and instill fear, suddenly faces the unsettling reality that his birthright is contested. Advisors who once offered counsel now whisper doubts. Spies are dispatched to uncover every detail of the twins' upbringing, and secret schemes are plotted to discredit or neutralize the rival. Every day brings new reports of defections, secret gatherings, and subtle provocations designed to test the king's authority. Early confrontations erupt between Henry's allies and the twins' supporters. Tense standoffs in London's halls, clandestine negotiations in dimly lit chambers, and skirmishes of influence over distant counties illustrate the fragile balance of power. Emotional tension weighs heavily on Henry. The world he believed was guaranteed, the throne, the loyalty of his subjects, the certainty of succession, is slipping through his fingers. He grapples with anger, fear, and a grudging admiration for the cunning of his hidden brother, whose patience and preparation have positioned him as a credible rival. The Tudor court, once a stage of predictable hierarchy, is now a battlefield of uncertainty. The emergence of the secret twin transforms the simple expectation of succession into a perilous contest of legitimacy, strategy, and ambition. England stands at a precipice, with every decision, every whispered alliance, and every act of defiance capable of determining which Tudor will ultimately rule. The initial threat now begins its evolution into open conflict, setting the stage for a struggle that will test the resilience of kingship, loyalty, and the very foundations of the monarchy itself. When one throne has two heirs, England's streets, castles, and hearts tremble with the possibility of civil war. The emergence of Henry VIII's hidden twin transforms the once stable Tudor court into a web of conspiracies, divided loyalties, and shadowed ambitions. The court, historically a place of ceremony and predictability, now seethes with tension. Factions crystallize almost overnight. Conservatives and traditionalists rally around Henry, seeking to preserve the known order, while reformers, opportunists, and those disillusioned with Henry's rule quietly pledge allegiance to the mysterious twin, intrigued by his preparation, intellect, and the allure of a new path for England. Assassination plots and secret alliances become daily realities. Poisoned goblets, late-night whispers in shadowed corridors, and clandestine meetings in hidden chambers are no longer rare rumors. They are weapons in a high-stakes game where any misstep can prove fatal. Nobles hedge their bets, some double-dealing, others swearing loyalty out of fear rather than conviction. Even the king's most trusted advisors, men like Thomas Cromwell and Cardinal Wolsey, find their positions precarious, navigating shifting loyalties while attempting to protect both crown and life. And Boleyn, caught in this maelstrom, faces a precarious choice. Historically poised to become Henry's queen, her position is now uncertain. Support the established king and maintain the familiar path to power, or see the twin as a chance to secure her own survival and influence. Every decision she makes carries life or death consequences, her alliances scrutinized, her movements watched by spies and informants. The court becomes a chessboard of subtle manipulations, with each figure calculating not only for themselves but for the uncertain future of England itself. Religious divisions, already a simmering tension under Henry's reign, intensify. Protestant and Catholic factions weigh the twins' claims carefully, assessing which claimant aligns with their vision for England's faith. Each side offers secret endorsements, financial support, and intelligence networks, hoping to shape the outcome while avoiding direct conflict that could engulf the nation in open warfare. Churches and monasteries become centers of quiet plotting, their halls echoing with prayers and schemes alike. Meanwhile, everyday England feels the ripples of uncertainty. Rumors swirl through towns and villages, carried on the wind from London's palaces. Markets buzz with speculation, inns are alive with anxious debates, and families whisper about which heir will bring stability or devastation. Fear and curiosity intermingle, creating a tense atmosphere where loyalty can shift in an instant and trust is a dangerous commodity. Amidst this chaos, the twins' subtle victories begin to accumulate. Through cunning diplomacy and careful manipulation, he gains control of key cities, wins over influential nobles, and even secures tentative recognition from foreign powers curious about England's destabilized monarchy. Each triumph intensifies Henry's panic, forcing him to confront the uncomfortable reality that the throne he assumed was assured is now anything but secure. By the time the twins' influence reaches a symbolic peak, whether by capturing a strategic stronghold, winning over a major faction of the court, or humiliating Henry in a public confrontation, the nation stands on the brink of civil war. England is no longer a predictable monarchy but a battlefield of ambition, fear, and political cunning. The chaos sown by a hidden heir transforms not only the royal court but the very soul of the kingdom, setting the stage for a dramatic and perilous struggle for the ultimate prize, the crown itself. Imagine a Tudor king unlike any history remembers, ruthless, clever, and determined to rewrite the legacy of his brother. With strategic brilliance and carefully orchestrated alliances, the hidden twin successfully claims the crown, and Henry VIII is either deposed, imprisoned, or exiled, stripped of the power and prestige he once assumed would be his by birthright. The familiar Tudor world is upended, replaced by a kingdom under the rule of a man who was raised to observe, calculate, and seize opportunity. From the moment he ascends, the twin sets about stamping his authority on England. Policies diverge sharply from those of Henry VIII. Marriages are arranged not for personal desire but for political advantage, securing alliances that shock both domestic and foreign observers. Religious reforms take a new direction. Perhaps the twin is more devout, accelerating Protestant reforms with an iron hand, or he may seek compromise to stabilize his rule, frustrating both zealots and traditionalists alike. Monasteries and church lands, once a focus of Henry's dissolution, are handled differently, reshaping the landscape of English wealth and religious influence. England's economy, politics, and foreign relations reflect the twins' distinct approach. Trade policies are more strategic, wars more calculated, and diplomatic marriages serve as tools for long-term influence rather than short-term satisfaction. Nations that once feared or courted Henry must now contend with a ruler whose intellect and ambition are unmatched, creating an unpredictable web of international tension and intrigue. And Boleyn's fate becomes a symbol of this new era. Does she adapt to the twins' rule, securing a position at court through pragmatism, or does she attempt to flee, perhaps falling victim to intrigue and vengeance? Her choices, like those of many courtiers, highlight the twins' sharp understanding of human behavior. Loyalty is rewarded, hesitation punished, and every decision scrutinized for both political and personal advantage. The twins' personality contrasts markedly with Henry's. Where Henry often allowed emotion, vanity, or desire to shape his decisions, the twin demonstrates a calculated mix of ruthlessness and intellect. Perhaps he is more pious, commanding religious obedience with quiet menace, perhaps more strategic, seeing alliances as chess pieces rather than partners, or perhaps a terrifying combination of both, leaving contemporaries unsure whether fear or admiration should guide their actions. Historical events that once defined Tudor England are rewritten. Wars, alliances, and domestic policies unfold along entirely new trajectories. Succession plans are reconsidered, monasteries may be preserved or destroyed on a different schedule, and England's global influence grows or falters according to the twins' unique vision. Every decision ripples outward, creating a butterfly effect that reshapes not only the monarchy but the very structure of the nation. The initial triumph of the twin, while dramatic and decisive, foreshadows the unforeseen consequences of his reign. England is transformed, politically, religiously, and socially, setting the stage for tensions, rebellions, and a legacy that diverges dramatically from the one history remembers. The crown is secure, but the path ahead is fraught with uncertainty, proving that even the most meticulously planned ascension carries risks beyond any ruler's imagination. Every choice, every life in Tudor England is reshaped by a secret sibling who changed the course of history. The twins' reign does more than simply replace Henry VIII. It transforms the succession, religion, foreign policy, and cultural trajectory of the nation. Henry's children, once heirs to the throne, are marginalized, sent into obscurity, or entirely erased from political consideration. The carefully groomed plans for Edward, Mary, and Elizabeth are disrupted, their lives redirected by the twins' strategic vision. Elizabeth, historically destined to become the Virgin Queen and a symbol of national resilience, experiences an entirely different upbringing. Her education, socialization, and courtly influence are recalibrated under the twins' priorities, removing the circumstances that allowed her to flourish as a monarch. Perhaps she is kept in relative obscurity, a political pawn rather than a celebrated ruler, her intellect and charisma untapped by the pressures and freedoms of Elizabethan England. Mary's influence is similarly diminished. Her role in the religious tug-of-war between Protestantism and Catholicism is curtailed, her ambitions constrained by the twins' calculated religious reforms. Religious shifts in this alternate timeline take unpredictable paths. The balance between Protestant and Catholic factions is rewritten according to the twins' strategic aims rather than Henry's impulsive decisions. Wars fueled by sectarian tension may be avoided, or conversely, provoked, depending on the twins' foreign alliances and internal priorities. England's spiritual and political identity becomes a reflection of his cunning, with long-term consequences for both domestic stability and international perception. European alliances, too, evolve under this hidden monarch. Spain, France, and the Holy Roman Empire navigate a Tudor court that is unfamiliar, unpredictable, and potentially more shrewd than in the historical timeline. Marriages and treaties are recalibrated to serve the twins' broader strategic goals, shifting the balance of power across the continent. England's global position, naval dominance, and colonial ambitions may advance or falter in ways that history never recorded, all stemming from the presence of a single hidden heir. Cultural impact reverberates as well. The Elizabethan era, celebrated for Shakespearean drama, exploration, and maritime triumphs, takes on an entirely new shape, or may never occur in its familiar form. Literature, theater, art, and exploration follow the contours of the twins' rule, reshaping myths, national identity, and the narrative of English greatness. The England we know, a nation defined by Elizabeth's charisma, naval victories, and cultural flowering, becomes a land of alternate heroes, different legends, and rewritten history. The ripple effect of the twins' existence illustrates the systemic consequences of one concealed life. By altering succession, religion, diplomacy, and culture, he creates an England fundamentally different from the historical reality. Every policy, every alliance, every act of governance is refracted through the lens of his unique vision, showing how a single hidden heir could reshape a nation's identity and its place in the world forever. The stage is now set to reflect on the ultimate legacy of this shadow monarch, the long-term transformations that mark Tudor England as a kingdom forever changed. Behind the throne, lives are lost, families torn apart, and the price of ambition is counted in blood and betrayal. While the twin consolidates power, Henry VIII faces exile or confinement, stripped of the crown and confronted with despair. The king, once confident in his destiny, is reduced to plotting, scheming, and longing for the throne that is no longer his, an existence shadowed by regret and the relentless awareness of his own vulnerability. Anne Boleyn's fate hangs in the balance, her survival dependent on her ability to navigate a court dominated by the twins' ruthless pragmatism. Her child, once a potential heir, may be cast aside or used as a pawn in a web of dynastic maneuvering, a stark reminder that even royal blood cannot guarantee safety in a kingdom ruled by cunning and ambition. Nobles and advisors experience swift reversals of fortune. Those who pledge loyalty to the twin rise in influence and wealth, while Henry's supporters face exile, execution, or ruin. Every alliance carries risk, every act of loyalty is measured against the twins' calculating eye. Lives are made and destroyed with shocking speed, underscoring the fragility of power and the human cost of political gamesmanship. The wider populace is not spared. Fear, propaganda, and rumors ripple through towns and villages, shaping public perception and inciting unrest. Uprisings flare in response to uncertainty, while ordinary citizens navigate a world where loyalty to one claimant over another can mean survival or death. Amidst triumph and conquest, the twins' reign casts a shadow over human lives, revealing that history is not merely a record of events and policy but a tapestry of loss, suffering, and resilience. The personal cost of a hidden heir's ambition is profound, setting the stage for an England forever altered, both politically and emotionally, by the struggle for the throne. In a world without Elizabeth I, England's golden age never dawns, replaced by a kingdom forged in secrecy and intrigue. The twins' reign reshapes the cultural, religious, and global identity of the nation, leaving a legacy that diverges sharply from the familiar stories of triumph, artistry, and exploration. England's narrative, once defined by Elizabethan brilliance, now reflects the calculated rule of a hidden monarch whose priorities are ambition, survival, and control. The arts and culture of the period transform under this alternate rule. Shakespeare, historically patronized and inspired by Elizabeth's court, may never receive the same support, altering the trajectory of English literature and theater. Playwrights, poets, and artists navigate a court dominated by pragmatism rather than patronage, producing works shaped more by political necessity than celebration of national identity. England's cultural flowering is muted, redirected, or replaced with entirely different artistic traditions that reflect the twins' preferences and worldview. Religion, too, experiences profound shifts. Protestantism, propelled historically by Henry VIII and solidified under Elizabeth, faces delays or suppression. The twins' policies may favor Catholic traditions, compromise between factions, or enforce religious conformity in ways that prevent the emergence of a distinctly Protestant England. As a result, the spiritual and moral character of the nation is fundamentally altered, with long-term consequences for law, governance, and daily life. England's global influence, its colonial ambitions, naval power, and exploration is similarly transformed. Without the navigational and maritime momentum driven by Elizabethan policy, voyages of discovery may falter or shift direction, trade networks are recalibrated, and rival powers such as Spain and France exploit England's altered priorities. The world stage, too, feels the ripple effect of a monarchy forged in secrecy rather than celebrated in legend. Myths and heroes are rewritten. England's national story, long tied to Elizabeth's intelligence, diplomacy, and symbolic power, gives way to a narrative of shadowed ambition, concealed heirs, and the unpredictable consequences of secrecy. Legends, folklore, and historical memory evolve differently, leaving generations to grapple with a past shaped not by charisma and vision but by calculated intrigue and relentless pursuit of power. The twins' alternate legacy demonstrates the fragility of human events and the vast consequences a single hidden life can create. In this reimagined England, centuries of political, cultural, and spiritual history unfold along a divergent path, proving that one secret can ripple outward to reshape an entire nation, and even the world, as we think we know it. One secret sibling hidden in the shadows, and the world we know is gone. The familiar Tudor history, Henry VIII's reign, the rise of Elizabeth I, the Golden Age of England, is replaced by a timeline shaped by ambition, secrecy, and calculated power. Succession is rewritten, with heirs marginalized or erased. Religion is steered along an entirely different course. Culture, art, and literature are reshaped by the priorities of a hidden monarch, and England's global influence is redirected, leaving the world stage profoundly altered. This alternate history illustrates that history is a chain of delicate moments, where a single life, or even a single hidden life, can pivot the fate of nations. Every decision, every secret, every heartbeat has the potential to reshape the world. The story of Henry VIII's hidden twin invites us to wonder, to question, and to explore history's fragile what-ifs. Imagine, debate, and dive deeper into the alternate paths that might have been.